Good evening and welcome to a pair of Hexagon Cup casts. I am all alone for the moment, but I am poorly joined by what will soon be Scout at some point when she gets home from work. We have two matches for you tonight. The first will be a live match between Bobby of the Revolution and Disco Inferno UchiOkam, which unfortunately my font here doesn't support Japanese characters, or I would have typed that. Tonight we're competing over a pair of hexes in the P row. Here it's going to be P1 first, followed by P6. And as the map here shows on a 2-day delay, that for the moment this venue is pretty well in a corner on its own, not too critical for adjacency bonuses, especially being on the edge of the map. It just touches that many fewer tiles. But what we will be seeing tonight here is 6 games on 2 venues. Those venues will be High Rise 3 of 5 and Gallery 4 of 8. 6 games of each. The first person to take 7 total games will claim the Hexagon for their team. If it goes 6-6, both teams get half credit for that Hexagon, but nobody can claim adjacency bonuses on that square. And these players should be relatively even skill, so I'm hoping to see a nice close match tonight. And the players are ready. So without wasting too much time, we're going to go ahead and hop into the venue. We've got Uchi as our first spy, starting out here on Disney. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. We get brought into this bookcase here. Not too much going on. Of course, this party very active out of the gate. Almost nobody choosing to go straight to conversation circles. Got Duke over there hugging the ambassador. Lots of people going to statues, but nobody wanting to talk. So for the moment, we're just stuck here idling with this suspected double agent, presumably hoping TLR seduction target will go somewhere interesting. Now, I don't have too much history on Uchi, but I do like this proactive play here early, stepping into these statues with, at this point, the entire party is highlit. There are no neutral lights here. That's not something you see too often, but perhaps Bobby favoring the ability to have characters stand out against the ambassador if you try for a bug or something, versus the ability to actually have people be marked as more suspicious. We'll see if that choice pans out for him here as we get later into the match. Now with a little under Snipe Arcade time left, we've started our flirt, so we still have a reasonable amount of time to get that done, provided that Teal doesn't give us too much sunshine. But we will try to offer us a drink here, but we're too close to the ambassador and he just paths away. It looks like Uchi perfectly happy to try and timer flirt this out, but instead leaves the conversation, maybe wanting to finish these inspects before spy o'clock, or otherwise just make that cooldown timer go a little bit faster, a little bit of active idling perhaps. Either way, I think it's probably a good move here. There's few things you can do less productive with your time than just standing in a conversation. We will now be offered a drink. I can't imagine we want this purloin here. We're just going to take an innocent drink. With 1 minute 30 seconds left, we might have a little bit of trouble getting that out of our hands in order to finish those inspects. 3 flirts is going to have to come off, or 3 sips is going to have to come off pretty quickly in order for us to get that mission done. We will send off a known fake contact here. Unfortunate. There are not many people out of conversation, but the SDA among them. That's just going to be a couple free lowlights. Nothing devastating here. But as we wait for this flirt cooldown to go away once more, I think Uchi's plan might be to gulp this drink sooner rather than later. We are going to head back to this painting pad. I think it's the 3rd time this game we've gone to this position. It is a nice position. You can choose to go just about anywhere from here and not have it look too suspicious. We get caught on the corner there as we try to step into the statue, but Bobby doesn't seem to have taken too much notice, trying to watch the ambassador in the back there. Missed pad only as devastating as it is seen. But we will finish our inspects, and we need a flirt and a contact here. Unfortunately, the double agent is not having it. We're not going to be able to get that contact. It's going to have to be a last-second bug here after the flirt, and we might just be dead if we talk. Here comes Toby, but he's not offering to us. He's offering to... There's a crash bug, and we don't even get it in time. So that's going to be an unfortunate timeout for Uchi there in those closing seconds. Just couldn't find a way to have it come together, and runs out of time. Just never found a good opportunity to get back to the statues. The double agent was a real buster. Didn't give us really any opportunity to actually get a contact there. And the first game goes to Bobby. This is live, so we are right on the players' heels, and they are just getting into their next game now. It's going to be the second of 6 here, with Bobby starting out as general. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. For some reason, I feel an obligation to count the games in, even though I have no co-caster. But Scout might pop in here at any minute, and I look forward to that. Bobby with the canonical pairing here, as I would expect from a player the likes of him, but might be a little more noticeable flirt pair than most. Bobby is one of those players who leans into the memes quite a bit. We will take this contact, and unfortunately it's going to give up a low light onto small man, but it does cover for our purloin the list, and if we're not dead here for this, I don't see how we're going to find this shot. I'm not entirely sure how on top of this list being gone UchiOkam is. Our seduction target leaves, so at least that's going to be a little bit of a thorn in Bobby's side, but there's plenty of time left on the clock. We do get brought up to a highlight, possibly for being in the vicinity of the purloin, but safety off on Sorry. No shot taken, though. That was a long safety off for no shot. Perhaps just waiting for one thing more. You know what, we're flirting over here at these windows. Bobby, very happy about that for some reason. But with 2 minutes left to only find one flirt, this is definitely Bobby's game to lose. We are going to step the maximum distance away from Queen here in this conversation and be stared at. I'm really confused about this laser movement, because I'm really not sure if Uchi completely has this or doesn't have it at all. You can't assign too much suspicion to that last talk, because we were definitely obligated to talk there. We had the yellow arrow, though we do a stop talk. I'm not entirely sure why. I think that was a bit of unnecessary risk taken by Bobby. And in this position, I might like to see a fake contact come off. The conversations are very full at this point. It would give real to a few people who might not have had it last time around. And no, it's just going to be another innocent drink take as we wait for the flirt cooldown. There it is. Probably going to wait our turn just for the yellow arrow here and go ahead and round out this match. 8 seconds left here for Uchi to find a miracle shot. Laser zooms in on our head, but oh, it's a low light. It's not a game until somebody low lights the spy, and this time it was Uchi, but thankfully 2 seconds left in mission win countdown means that that's not too devastating a low light. Here's the moment of action again. We green purloin this list and then wait a couple seconds before triggering this banana bread. Toby goes to a position that's particularly hard to see, especially with the rotation there, and having to rotate to take that light onto pearls at the bookcase means that this list isn't visible for a very long time. And that's how Bobby manages to get away with it so cleanly there. Nice little bit of rushing fairly early on into the match, and I think just catching the sniper a little bit off guard. as we wait for the players to set up their next game. All right, looks like they are about ready to go. Of course, in such an extended format on only 2 venues, it might make a good deal of sense to take some time in these early games, scope out the replay, see what your opponent's strategies were, and try to find a way to exploit those, because you're going to have at least 3 chances on each side. And if you can pick something up in that first game, that's going to give you a lot of leverage in the later games there to take advantage. Now we have Uchi's second spy game here. They're starting out as Seek in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Opening up the match with a little bit of active idling, and we have the all highlight strat coming out here from Bobby once again. And again, second time running, Uchi going for these early side inspects. Now, this particular set of statues can be difficult for the sniper to actually pay that much attention to, especially with swap off. There's very little reason to be looking at that side of the venue unless the ambassador or somebody is over there. General will come to us in this conversation, but unfortunately quite the distance away, meaning this flirt's going to be weak. The nice thing about these far flirts is that the cooldown is much, much shorter. You only lose on the order of 10% time for far flirts versus near flirts, and Uchi doesn't want to waste any of that time at all. We'll walk away from that conversation. We tried to get a double walking bug there, but it's not going to pan out. I do like the attempt, and the pillar there between the left side and the right side of the venue provided a good deal of cover for it. It would be difficult for Bobby to manage to credit that bug, but you definitely could just from the timing at which we left. We will slot in next to the ambassador here, but this would be a very difficult bug to take. Bobby has a pretty good angle for this. And this position might be to say, you know what, I'm definitely not bugging the ambassador. You should not pay any attention to me. This is an AI-like path. They would just go right here. Everything's fine. Everything's normal. But Uchi getting themselves in a little bit of time trouble again here. We will go for this bug, and it's covered by Alice, but very much seen by Bobby's perspective. The path was definitely a bug path. You could see the arm coming through there.
Banana bread.
And we will fire off the banana bread. It is real, despite the bug not taking, so Bobby convinced that we're not finishing, despite being relatively confident of that bug. For how far we are behind, we send off the green list take. We want this list, and Toby almost helps us out, walking outside, but nobody there wants to take it. We are now just stuck in this conversation with Teal while the list, there it goes, it's gone, scene gone. Laser comes back to us, and it's a low light. Oh no, Bobby. The pathing from Toby there, coming from that right side of the venue, has completely thrown off Bobby's radar for what happened here, and we've gone from top suspect for a bug to a low light here with 30 seconds left, but we still are going to have a second trip to statues. Can you bring this back, Bobby? I don't think you can. I think this is Uchi finding the win here, and it is. It's going to bring it back to 2-1. Lot to unfold in that game. Let's take a quick peek here. A no flirt game. Let's find this first bug attempt here. That's the second bug attempt, but we'll take it. We leave this conversation here. Thankfully, General passed there just at the right time that Bobby can't be completely sure, and is definitely not sure enough that he gives us a low light later for a purloin that we did ourselves. Just not quite confident enough. And here's kind of the key moment here. Well, as Toby comes and offers to us, we choose to take this list, and what Toby's going to do is he's going to go ahead and walk outside. Go try to offer to the ambassador. The ambassador walks away before he can get there. And that means that as Toby comes back in and walks the long way around that conversation, it just doesn't process for Bob that we were the last person offered to. And there's so much time and so much distance. And that leads to a low light and a spy win here for Uchi. Heading now on to our fourth game. Uchi trying to tie this up here if they can manage to shoot the Bling Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Seduction target comes to us. Little bit of twin-on-twin action. We will pick up 31% flirt. Unfortunate number means that we do need a green test here. Just 34 times 2, not going to be good enough to get it done. But at least it's basically a free flirt. We were going over here to the statues, taking a page out of Uchi's book. And we will start out this mission with a frenzy of Softail progress. Oh, that bug is not good, Bobby. Sometimes you try for a bug, and sometimes you die for trying for a bug. After this strong start to the game, we get this free flirt and a pair of inspects. We are just going to go absolutely wave. That is not the wrong arm bug we wanted. Just triggered it, then turned into conversation. And, yeah, you die for those. Good catch by Uchi. Found the bug. Shot the bug. And we have 2 games of high rise left, 1 for each. And 2 sides of the hexagon lit up for each player. Keeping it close through this first venue. All right, we've got General again here, but this time it's Uchi's pick. And is Bobby going to go for the all highlight strategy? Yep, there they come. It's an interesting adaptation. If you don't expect the spy to go for statues, or you expect that you can memorize all the statue visitors, because that having the highlights available is just such a powerful tool for taking some of the mental load off. But Bobby confident he can do this without it, as Uchi steps right in next to Queen, taking another page out of Bobby's book for their first 34% flirt. Little bit of a slower start here for Uchi. No statues this time around. I guess that was an interesting little bit of motion there from Queen. Tried to leave the conversation in a direction they couldn't. We go for a bug here at the bookcase and land in complete nowhere's land. I think Bobby caught that one, but again, not willing to shoot for it. So we do our due diligence here at the bookshelf, take a nice little read, and make our way back across the venue. Now deciding it's time for statues, but we missed the pad again here. Again, got a little bit of cover from the screen, plus it's on that uninteresting right side of the venue. I don't think we're any worse for wear, certainly not compared to that bug attempt. But we will have our first pair of inspects here with 90 seconds left to play. We do need to put the gas on here a little bit because we didn't even get the bug we tried for. And we are suspect numero uno here, especially with this time ad. It's going to be 2 green time ads. Uchi feeling the time pressure and decides to make it go away. It's not going to help about the bug suspicion. There's no space for us in this conversation. We just bounce on past, walk of shame over here to the blue bookcase for the second time. And at least we have plenty of green time out here to make up for this little bit of slowness here. Space opens up next to Queen, but we don't want to break etiquette and slam the book, but we will break etiquette and slam between her and Irish. Bobby notes the flirt pair with the laser and takes the shot, and it will be correct. Run back here in this replay, see if we can catch that bug again. Where is it? Here it is. My timeline skills are not on point today, but here we go. We eye up this ambassador and just unfortunately we get stuck on the plant there on the way in. And stutter noticed by Bobby just on the corner of the binoculars there, and from that moment on we were going to be hard pressed to finish, but tried anyway. The 2 green time ads were absolutely invisible from where Bobby was looking. He would have had to use negative information there to find those, but probably not looking at the clock at that point in time with such a high suspect. That means that the first venue will come down to the last game. We could have Bobby taking this first half of the set here for the Revolution, but Uchi's certainly going to do their best and try to not let that happen here as the players set up for this final high-rise map. All right, here we go. Bobby starting out here as Pearls with Seduction Target, the other slow character. More a little bit of themed picks here. Early flirt and early leave by the Seduction Target. We earned a low light. What was that low light for? But this is going to be tough. Here's the moment just before the low light here. Hope that wasn't a misclick while going for the double agent because, well, okay, in the meantime, we're brought back up for these statues. Apparently, Uchi, on top of the fact that it was an erroneous light here, well, I'm trying to figure out what the light was for. Sometimes the correct answer is the simplest one. But for the moment, Bobby's got 2/3 of his flirt, 2.5 minutes, and significant suspicion for the statue visit, at least the highlight. Unfortunately, we will have to make another statue visit at some point if we'd like to complete that mission. But what I wouldn't mind to see from Bobby here is just taking those 2 statues to the bank and keeping them unfinished. It can be very hard to shoot a spy if you know there's a mission they haven't completed here. Especially when we've seen Uchi be fairly patient this far. We will finish our flirt and leave immediately. Bobby disagrees, doesn't want to wait for spy o'clock to finish these inspects. Uchi will zoom out and take notice of us over here. But swap is on, and we have not been checking these statues at all. Will Bobby choose to swap it? Yes, he will. It's just a white swap, but the rotate comes around. Do you know, Uchi? Did you check them? No! Shoot small man. Thinks it's a... Doesn't shoot small man. Suspicious, but... It's a swap. Swap had been off so far in this venue Bobby changes it up for the last game. That rotate around sees the swap, but no fade, and just doesn't like us for it. Likes Smallman for it. And chooses not to take the shot, as in those couple moments here, we had Taft get in the way. So we didn't get to see a dead small man, but what we did get to see is the conclusion of our first venue. (4-2) in favor of the Revolution. But that is not an insurmountable lead here as we head to our second venue, which will be Gallery. That is but a single broken serve, and it can be as easy as a quick little swap. And you find yourself a spy win and find yourself back at a level playing field, as the players take a moment to catch their breath, catch back up, and get ready to move on in this set. Players still taking their time here, of course. Perfectly reasonable. Just bathroom break, drink break, whatever you need. But are now getting this venue set up as we head for our first game on Gallery. It's a 4-2 lead. And we have Uchi spying first here. Is immediately low lit in some bookkeeping, and we take a bug. It's a crazy 360 bug. But mistaken low light in the opening seconds gets us away with a bug. Here's those opening seconds again, just trying to low light double agents, and clicks on us instead. And go as Uchi goes for this crazy bug, it's just lost in the bookkeeping. And Uchi with a very strong start here. The question is, do we know how strong it is? We have eventually been brought back up as Bobby realizes their mistake, but is it too late? It's a white purloin. All of the hardtails, the list visible, the fade visible. Our head visible in the crosshairs. And if I'm in Uchi's shoes there, I definitely felt that laser. The one saving grace might be if Bobby doesn't have that bug, it's another safety off on us. If there's some mission counting happening and we can find soft tells the rest of the way, Bobby might choose to, oh no, we can't fit into this conversation. And that's enough for Bobby. He's seen enough. Takes the shot and pulls out to a little bit of a larger lead. Let's take a look. First, let's go for this bug again. I want to see this bug from a different perspective. First, we just get in that first split second. Laser wants Duke, finds us instead. And that means that this maneuver, which, to be honest, other than the path bouncing off the ambassador, wasn't that terrible. Definitely assisted by the low light, but we find ourselves with a nice time of chaos bug. And then perhaps feeling more suspicious than we are, we decide we need to rush. And as Toby makes his way around this conversation circle to offer us a drink, we will choose to take it, and there's just not anything else for Bobby to be watching. No cover for the fade, no chain to speak of, no doubt in Bobby's mind, and we will eventually get shot for the missed pad at the front windows. But it was very strong progress early, and just thought we were more of a suspect than we were. That's always a hard game to play. Now getting on to the second game here of Gallery. Bobby starting out as the character that caused all of the trouble in the last game, and heading out to these blue bookshelf to pick up our first flirt. Duke, a relatively unremarkable spy. But sometimes unremarkable is exactly what you need as we take this blue book away. Thinking there for a second about chasing the seduction target, but decide not to do it right away. Little bit of a cheeky book cancel there as we go for the briefcase. But little anti-tells like that. Oh, we bug 360 style while Uchi's zoomed out. But perhaps Uchi more interested in what Small Man's doing with that statue. I don't know how much trouble we're in for that bug. But Bobby trying for some high-level tech here, but the question is, are you going to get credit for that? To be honest, I don't play that many games, and if I see something like that, I'm like, what the heck just happened there? Not knowing that it's a thing that AIs do, and when that happens, I tend to pay you a lot of attention. But for the moment, Bobby's okay. We dump this blue book off here in green. No worse for wear for our attempt at AI anti-tells, and no worse for wear for this transfer. We will let off a known fake and request a drink. Here goes the purloin. It's a green test. Can we get the heck out of Dodge? Is bookkeeping still happening, but that's an awful lot of lowlights. And oh no, we're offered to again, but there wasn't much of a chain in the meantime. So we're out of the chain now. If Irish takes, she doesn't, thankfully, because that would have left the chain to be just us if the list take or the fade were seen. Risky play here from Bobby, but we have 3 hard tells. The list now seen gone. Irish probably top suspect for that. More lowlights coming off now. A good chunk of this party is gone, but so is so much progress. And we pick up a highlight for having a drink. Great recovery strat here from Uchi. Just, I have no clue who took this, but this person has a drink. They were interacting with Toby lately. They get a highlight. But unfortunately, it's going to be too little too late. We're just going to finish this flirt off. Mission win countdown. And I don't think that Uchi's going to be on top enough of this flirt pair to find a shot here. We briefcase redirect and find ourselves a mission win here with 3 hard tells. Let's jump back to this burst of action here in the middle of the game. We go for this fake banana bread and immediately request a drink here with Toby so close. And while all of this bookkeeping's happening, just so many lowlights available for Uchi to take. We find the green purloin and then take again at the windows as Toby follows us. And here, when Irish takes, get a bug on the way in, and a really good bug at that, being stared down and almost nothing of it visible. The list goes away, and Bobby all but home free at this point. Even as the purloin is noticed. Wait, was it a drink bug? I'm just assuming it was a really good bug. Let's see this again here. No, that's just a wrong arm bug. Or no, not even wrong arm. Is that drink bug? Oh, that's really good. That is a drink bug. Frame perfect trick there. And Bobby finds it. If there's ever a deserved win, you pull something like that off. I'm going to give you the green. I'm going to give you the check mark. And Bobby does pick up that game. And that's going to be a full hexagon, but it's not colored in yet. Uchi can still pull this back. But here we go. General again for Uchi here. Not queen this time. We've got Texas our seduction target. Starting out here, getting rid of this drink at a window pad, just staring at the art. Nice pile of yellow as we step outside, pick up our first flirt, and decide what we want to do next. I wouldn't mind seeing Uchi take a second here to leave this conversation, and he does. But what I was going to say is a time ad might have been a good play there. Front of gallery, just so unlikely to be watched when there's absolutely nothing happening. Uchi going to try to find a pair of prints here. We'll get the one off the statue, but by the time we're done our inspects, no longer available, the briefcase. And actually low light coming off here for that case. And I'm not entirely sure about the timing. We may have been obligated to take that case, but things like that just not super likely to be noticed. And we do have a good, decent bit of progress here. We have partial prints, partial seduce, partial inspects, and in a way, partial contact. We are in conversation with the double agent. Choosing not to take the contact, though. It wouldn't have been great, to be honest. Lots of people out, lots of people in that front conversation, and none of them this STA, so Uchi's decision working out for the best here as we take away a green book. So now, if you want to call partial microfilm a mission just for holding a book in hand here, lots of partial progress here for Uchi. Many options still open as we head into the 2 minutes remaining left in the match. We will take this all the way out front. Perhaps an AT microfilm going to come off here on the front window pad. It's a time ad first, though. White time ad. We'll put the clock back up to 2.5 minutes. Not going to go for the AT micro, though, despite the fact it would have been completely invisible with Bobby's binoculars pointed firmly at Damon. But looks like we are headed back in the general direction of this blue bookshelf with our very green book. We step down into this bookcase now. Laser not paying too much attention. Just no, that's attention. That's more attention than I thought. Just not wanting to be looking like we have suspicion for it. Bobby being subtle with those laser movements is probably pretty confident that was not, in fact, a blue book. And just wants to tease Uchi a little bit here, not give them a false sense of security. As... oh, Scout's here, and I had her muted in my own ears. Let me unmute Scout. Hi, Scout.
Hey. Hello.
How was work?
Work was fine. How's the game? I'm slightly behind you.
The game is also fine. We've got Uchi finishing missions left and right here. Inspect and fingerprints now gone. It's real contact. The question is, just how suspicious are we for that microfilm? The answer is incredibly suspicious. And we take a bullet to the back as Bobby clinches the P1 Hexagon. Kind of the decisive moment here. Just not a lot going on at the party when we're at that green bookshelf. Uchi's going to spend a good long amount of time carrying this blue book around, or this green book around. And I think we would have been, again, here in these seconds, we might have had an opportunity to go for the AT microfilm when we went for this time ad. But of course, there's no way for Uchi to know that the laser zoomed in. You might suspect it from the angle, but white test microfilm is such a hard thing to get away with. It. They're not willing to take that risk, but they are willing to try and say, maybe Bobby doesn't quite know where this came from. and try to slam it back into blue. But at this point, we are once again caught up with the players.
And of course, despite the Hexagon having been won, there is still every game counts, especially for the venue bonuses.
That is very true. So we will stand by and give these players an opportunity to get the remaining 3 games set up here.
I haven't got any brilliant insights about this match, given I've only seen the last couple of games.
It's actually been a fairly close match. A lot of statue happening on high rise. Uchi, very much a fan of the early statues, but by far the highlight of this match was a drink bug pulled off by Bobby here earlier on in gallery.
Can we get him a roll of -5 points for that?
Okay, let me just edit the score here a little bit. Okay, it's now 2-2.
I mean, if Rov's going to get -5 for being Rov, I think we need to issue penalties for things like drink bugs.
Oh. This is not gallery, this is modern. Hopefully the players realize that.
I don't know, it's got books in it. Less artwork, more sort of landscapes.
I mean, if the only condition for being gallery is that it has art, what venues wouldn't be gallery? Does balcony have no art at all? Is it the only venue with no art?
It's got some pretty vases and things inside the windows, though. Does that count as art?
I don't know. Oh, the statues aren't art.
They're kind of the definition of art. They're an object with no purpose displayed for the beauty of them.
Well, our canon here has to be that the statues have purpose, or else there would be no merit to inspecting them. So they're actually not art. They're high-tech information sharing devices.
Well, they can be there and artwork. We're not being exclusive about things.
I mean, if you put a flash drive in the bottom of it, is it really still art?
I expect this is probably something for a philosopher at this point.
Well, while we're waiting for the game, we might as well have some philosophical discussions.
I'd argue that you can add whatever you like to art and it's still art, if we define art as something that's main purpose is to be beautiful.
So what if you add something to it that's ugly? What if it was beautiful and then you add a really ugly flash drive to it?
Well, this is the thing with all modern art, and to be honest, I don't understand that either. I mean, at least it looked beautiful before you added the flash drive, unlike certain bits of modern art.
You know, if we really want to talk about things that are beautiful, we could make Opie and Pwned happy and talk about flags.
Flags?
Yeah. You know, like the things countries use to represent themselves.
Opie and Pwned have a particular interest in this?
Oh, they were only talking about it the entire time. Last main cast here.
Oh.
Ah, we have a game here. We can talk about Spy Party now. We've got Bobby here as Queen X General. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, if anything is worth a -5, Queen. That's a bug. That's a bug. That's
a
a
bug that didn't take.
Aww.
The ambassador choosing to stop, and we're just a little bit too far out ahead. Don't get credit for it, but we're not getting shot for it either.
And we've just taken a book out and slammed it into the opposing bookcase, and yeah, Cypher saw that.
I didn't, because I was foolishly trying to show a replay. But, yep, we go to this... Yeah.
I'm not sure that the back of gallery is the best place for book cheeses. I mean, it might have been okay if we hadn't jammed the book in and rushed away. We could have just taken the book out and then walked across and happened to put the book in the next bookcase. But we were in a bit of a rush about that.
Well, and the other thing here is Uchi very clearly taking extra notice of this dynamic duo here at the bookshelves together. In fact, General earns a highlight for this despite being the one who was there first, and certainly aware enough of Bobby's tendencies to assign suspicion where suspicion is due, especially as we decide that we want the mission and we want it now. But Uchi going to try for some cheese of their own here. That's the wrong scene. This is the right scene. We've got some small man coming out here. It wouldn't be a set without small men. And we're starting out right in the back. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And
heat-seeking missile onto the ambassador.
Well, that's a bug. It looked pretty good, and the sniper wasn't looking at it. I'm a little bit sad we're now going out to the front of gallery at Smallman. It would have been quite fun to just hide in the back for a reasonable part of the game, but flirt is also an important thing.
The other great thing here is we miss this pad after the bug and just play it completely cool. We're staring straight on at the art. Doesn't look anything unnatural at all. We are now picking up a highlight for these inspects, but Uchi well out ahead of the curve here.
And especially if that bug isn't credited, which, given the safety off onto Oprah just then, I don't think it is. If we continue making steady progress, we should be good.
2 ships pass in the night as we walk past our seduction target. Uchi probably not thrilled about that. We will go for this difficult fingerprint. Unfortunately, we miss it. Difficult prints are hard. Checker, please fix. But also making things difficult, our seduction target chooses to run away and head for the outside conversation. We do need to hunt her down, and unfortunately that's going to mean jamming in right next to the ambassador. Oh, we get stuck on the window there, but Bobby zoomed in and can't see it. Instead, we're going to hide behind text and maybe add some time.
It is the classic gallery problem. I mean, there's now a wee space in that conversation. It's a nice move to use the window pads as a spot to wait to get into a conversation.
Low light!
Is that just because we didn't add time?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, we've got a green flirt, and we're now back at Windows.
And we're now not adding time. It's green test time ads have been coming out in spades for Uchi. Especially, we are so far ahead. This is Uchi's game to lose. Though the double agent could make a game of it if they continue to stay as far out of conversation as they've been thus far. We do have a little over 2 minutes left to find another inspect to contact and one more flirt. We will instead go for this difficult briefcase. And again, difficult prints are hard, but I don't think we're any worse for wear. What do you think?
I mean, we're low lit. At this point, we could be windmilling around the venue, and we're low lit. I probably wouldn't want to try to go for any more fingerprints after this point, because I presume Uchi doesn't think they're low lit, and collecting more than 2 prints as an AI is a little unlikely.
I almost wager that that laser had to sneak in quite tightly to find us in that conversation. If I'm in Uchi's shoes, I might think they felt a highlight. It's another green time ad, though.
I like this. If you're going to be screwed over by the DA, adding time is a nice way to fill the minutes until they can finally... Well, okay.
Highlight for finishing inspects. List still there. Bobby wants to check that, but no progress. Though the hardest part is done here. That the question is, do we die for contact, and can we even find a contact? I think the answer to do we die is no, but I can't answer if we'll be able to find one or not.
Yeah, both. I'm not sure. Salmon Real DA hasn't been doing much in regards to conversations, and has still not doing much in regards to conversations.
Don't do this to us.
I'm not sure if at this point we try and do a different mission to finish, but we're highlight again, so transfer is much less of a thing. This DA still hasn't joined a conversation.
Well, now he has. Joins the...
So now we need to get our zoomings on. Because even now, it's going to be a bit tight.
Banana bread.
Mission win countdown, and low lights means no shot.
I'm glad, because that was a really nice game, and it would have been sad if we got messed up by the DA there.
Again,
and time adds for the win.
I love the start of this game. We've got AI control takes us most of the way to the ambassador, and Uchi just finishes the job. Hard left turn, get the bug as the ambassador paths away. So much traffic. Bobby can't see it. And nice strong start to the game. Set us up for success, and Uchi able to capitalize.
Yeah, just a solid spy game.
Well, one game left in the set, and it's going to be more Smallman. I wanted Smallman. We've got Smallman. Let's see what Bobby can do with him in 3, 2, 1. Playing it.
Unfortunately, we can't go for the same play as last game, since Ambassador is very safe outside.
We just take the list! The list is seen gone! Oh, Bobby. There are not a lot of people who could have taken this list. We gulp.
So, there's been no highlights or lowlights taken, even though now I think list is seen gone, because we just double zoomed in on the list. And now Irish is highlight, and we're lowlit.
Never mind the bug that just happened.
Oh, did a bug happen? Oh, no.
A bug did indeed happen.
This is unfortunate.
And it's
just
in the...
one person too late on checking the list properly.
And just 1 second wrong on that low light. If you're either just a hair later at moving away, you see that. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bobby's shaking in his boots right now. The laser looked at the list right after we took it and looked at us right as we go for a bug. It's difficult fingerprint here, but we won't find it.
Stopping in next to Ember to get bug credit if we didn't have that before. Luckily, being Lola, it doesn't matter. And now we just have to seduce and contact, and it's gallery, which means we can't necessarily assume that that's a done thing. That might be the only way that Uchi wins this at this point.
That or Bobby just being too terrified to go for any devastating... I mean, we go for this print pretty brazenly here, but we might be afraid to contact. We're obviously not trying for flirt here, and that's basically off the table at this point in time. We have been seen with a number of cases at this point. There might be enough here for Uchi to put the puzzle together. Lasers right over us, despite us being a low light.
Are we going to microfilm transfer this? We are.
And hide behind the conversation and be Damon.
Well, that's a spy game.
And that'll be how this first set for the night ends, with 2 security guards and definitely no spies.
These have been some gallery games, I gotta say. I mean, you certainly can't criticize them for being formulaic so far. And nice work from Uchi to get a couple more wins on the board.
Yeah, I mean, it's 1 broken serve this whole set. I clicked the wrong checkbox, so it's 2 broken serves. But very, I mean, the spy play from Bobby was great. The drink bug, right? You can summarize this whole set saying Bobby got a drink bug. It is the end times when the memer has the tech.
At least he got punished for the memes. I approve. But you can't argue with drink bugs. Drink bugs and being Damon.
Something's wrong with my assets, and this Hexagon is not purple for some reason, but you can trust that the actual Hexagon is purple, and that I'm just bad at programming. But we do have a second match. One that was played earlier in the day. It's going to be the P6